Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TMM Appliance Network. Today we are going to discuss pricing in a small service company. Uh, Here at TMM, we believe pricing to be the number one issue facing small service companies. Uh, Many of us do not know how to price, no idea. I was in that position uh, when I started to grow my business. And that was one of the first things we had to look at. How do we set pricing appropriately to make sure we're making money? Hear a lot of anecdotal ways to set pricing, saying you should make $150 per call, you should make $200 per call, you should call your competitor, see what they charge. None of that makes any sense. None of that is based on anything. So that's what we're going to discuss today. We're also going to go over and preview our cost of doing business calculator that we've developed for single technician operations to figure out how much it actually costs you to run your business. As a side note, if you're a member of United Appliance Servicers Association, they have a very in-depth cost of doing business calculator that you can download from their website for free. I'll put a link to that below, but you do need to be a member to access that. So, the number one problem that people bring up in running a small service company is how much should I charge? Should I be cheaper than my competitor? What's a fair way to charge? What's a fair pricing system? Some of the concerns people have about raising their rates are I can't charge those rates in my area. I'll lose all my customers. None of that's true. Another issue we have in this business is we tend to undervalue our skill. If you're a technician and you're good at it, you tend to think it's easier than it really is. And so we undervalue that, and that creates problems in your business, such as a lack of money for things like health insurance or a retirement plan or expensive specialty tools like an air sled or an all dolly. It also undermines the professionalism of our industry because it trains our customers to think of us as less deserving of professional rates than other skilled trades like a plumber or an electrician. And I think that can stem from a lack of respect for the service we provide. We're talking about fairness in pricing. There is no such thing. Fairness is a subjective concept. I will often hear people say, it's not fair to charge the rates that you charge. People can't afford that or whatever. But there's no such thing as fair, right? Because it's subjective, and pricing is based or should be based on facts. So pricing is based on two things: the cost of operating your business, which is the fundamental component of pricing. It needs to be based on what it costs to operate your business. And if when you figure that out, the cost of operating your business raises your rates beyond what you think is fair, then you have two options. You can lower the cost of operating your business by cutting expenses or cutting your salary or making yourself more efficient. Or you can just get rid of that whole notion that fairness in pricing is even a thing. Second thing that pricing can be based on is your market and your customer demographics. And what that means is if you're in a market where there's a very high income, you can probably afford to raise your rates above what it costs to operate your business and increase your profits. Now, that means that you need to be better than everyone else. If you're going to charge the most, you need to be the best. That means that we should not be competing on price. We should be competing on quality. If we're competing on price, that's a race to the bottom because there's always somebody that's going to be cheaper. That's never going to go away. There's always somebody who's willing to do it cheaper. But if you're better, you will get customers who are willing to pay your rates because you're better, because they're not concerned about the cheapest, they're concerned about the best. And you kind of want to try to filter your customers so that you're getting the people who care about quality over price, within reason, of course. But you're going to go on Craigslist and there's going to be a bunch of people giving free estimates, whatever that means. And they're going to show up in a beat up old car. They're not going to know what they're doing, possibly just take somebody's money and leave. Now, you're charging your service call to go out there and diagnose the problem. and you're more expensive than the people offering the free estimates, but you're providing a quality service and you're warrantying it. So what I'm saying is we need to compete on quality, not on price, because competing on price is a losing
So
price.
job rate versus hourly, those are the two competing ways that people will price in this industry for the most part. I'm not going to talk about hourly rates. I don't like them. I don't think they're useful for what we do. I think they can hurt the industry, and I think they prevent really good technicians from making money. So what we're going to talk about is a job rate, because what a job rate is a standardized tier of pricing. So something like the Blue Book or the Blue Book Online. There's a variety of tiers of pricing. You'll start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say 1 is the very easiest, and that's going to be the lowest rate. It's going to cost that much for labor, no matter what. You'll have the middle rates, which are a little bit higher. They'll be for a little bit more difficult jobs. The point is, this is a standardized way so that one customer is charged the same amount of money for a job as another customer next week, regardless of how long it takes. But also what this does is reward skill and efficiency and experience, because now you're able to bill a standard rate regardless of how long it takes. So if you're very good at something because you've been doing it for 10 years, you're not going to be punished by an hourly rate, because if you send a novice out to do a job, it might take him 2 hours and he's going to bill for 2 hours. But if you go out with all of your experience, maybe it takes you a half hour. So now you only get to bill for a half hour. That doesn't make sense. So number one, the hourly rate will punish the customer if they get somebody who's inexperienced by charging them a lot more money, because it takes the novice a lot longer to do it. And they will punish the technician who's very experienced, because he's going to complete a job quicker because he has more experience. And it just doesn't make any sense. And so we're going to stick with job rates, and that's what we're going to be talking about in our business development program, because I think that is the best way to price jobs in this industry. And that's different from a flat rate where you're going to go out and say every job is $200 labor. That's not what we're talking about. There's a tier. There's a tiered system of different types of rates, which we will go more in depth later. So cost of doing business, what does that mean? Every hour your business is open, it costs you a certain amount of money to stay open. All of your expenses, your salary, those all factor into what it costs to operate your business. And if you don't know what it costs to operate your business, you will probably be surprised the first time you run the calculation. I know I was. And it forced us to raise our rates a lot in order to stay in business. So I'm going to put up on the screen now a job cost of doing business calculator that we have created here. And we'll just run through it a little bit. You'll see here that there are green fields. The green fields are fields that you can fill in your information. So the first one here will be this calculator that we're using here. This one is a very basic one. It only applies to businesses with just one technician. We will be also releasing a more in-depth calculator that will cover multi-tech operations, as well as parts markups, things like that. But this one is real simple, just to give you an idea. This will be available as part of our business development program. So the first field you'll see here is the income. So you're going to enter how much do you want to make per year. Okay. How many days per week do you want to run service calls? How many hours per day would you like to run service calls? And then it's going to calculate, well, that's how many hours per week you're running service calls, and that's going to tell you what your hourly pay rate is. The next field here will be labor. It says, how many days per week are you open for business? That's going to be automatically populated. And then you can fill in these other fields. How many days per year do you take vacation? How many sick days do you take per year? How many days per year do you attend training? I'm going to fill those in. That's going to tell you how many days your business is open for business. Also going to populate how many hours per day are you open for business, how many hours per year are you open for business. And then you'll see how much your hourly pay costs the business. And what you'll find is that the business pays more for your hourly rate than you receive. And the reason for that is you're getting paid for 52 weeks of work, but you're not working for 52 weeks because you're taking vacation days and sick days and training days. So it's actually a little bit more expensive to the business than what you get paid. The next section is expenses. So you'll fill in this green field here. What are your annual business expenses? That's good. You're going to exclude your labor from that. Just if you have a CSR, that will be included in expenses. Everything else included in expenses. The only thing we're excluding is technician labor. Parts, gasoline, truck payments, CSR, rent, all of that goes in the annual expenses. And then that's going to get divided by how many hours per year you're open for business, and that's going to give you how much your expenses cost the business per hour you are open. Next section is going to combine those two, the hourly cost to the business for labor and the hourly cost to the business for expenses. And the number that will populate there will be how much it costs to operate your business per hour if you are 100% efficient. Right? So if you work 8 hours a day and you complete 8 jobs a day, meaning first call completes on every one, that's how much it costs you to break even. Now, you probably want to make a profit on your business, though, too. So the next section will cover profit. What percentage of profit do you want to make? You'll enter that in there as a decimal, and then it'll calculate now how much it's going to cost to operate that business and make a profit. It's going to bring it up a little bit, and so you'll have a higher number now. And so with these numbers here, if you want to make 100, these are just round numbers we're using here. If you want to make 100,000 a year, work 5 days a week, run 8 service calls, take 10 days of vacation, 5 days of sick days, 10 training days, and your expenses are 50 grand, and you want to make 20% profit on top of all of that, cost you $99.31 per hour just to be open. That's it. Well, that's making 20% profit, but $99 an hour is where you're going to be on that. But how efficient are you? Are you actually completing 8 jobs in 8 hours? Probably not, right? So you're going to fill in how many calls do you complete in an average day. So most of the time it's probably between 4 and 6. So you can put that number in there, and then you'll get an efficiency rating. So if you complete 5 jobs in an 8-hour day, you're about 63% efficient. But that raises the cost of doing business, because now, because you're not actually completing 8 jobs in 8 hours, that's bringing the rate per hour to run your business up to about $159 per hour. So you run these calculations, and now you have a baseline, right? And you can see that if you get more efficient by increasing your first call complete rate and change that from 5 to 6 jobs, then that changes the efficiency rating to $75 an hour and brings it down to 75% efficient, and brings your cost per hour back down to 132 from 159. So just by completing 1 extra job per day, you can really lower how much it costs to operate your business. Now you can take these numbers and you can plug them into a job rate system, which we'll go over in another video, and all of this will be covered in much greater depth in the course. But we wanted to bring this up because pricing is really the number one issue, and I haven't seen, outside of attending United Servicers Association training, I have not seen anyone anywhere in the appliance industry discussing how to actually figure out how much it costs to run your business and how to set your pricing. A lot of people will tell you all sorts of nonsense about how you should be pricing your jobs. None of it means anything if you don't know how much it costs to run your business. So thank you for watching. Hit the like, subscribe, and share button, and leave your comments down below, and there will be some links for you to follow.